You got the pledge.
Good afternoon and welcome to the June 17th Board of Works and Public Safety. All rise for the Pledge of Allegiance led by Brian Doub.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If you'd like to remain standing for invocation, Pastor.
Thank you. The Proverbs chapter 3 encourages us to trust in the Lord with all our heart, lean not to our own understanding, but in all of our ways acknowledge Him. Let's acknowledge Him right now. Gracious Father, we invite your presence in this meeting today, and thank you that you listen to us. Help us to listen to each other. Enable us to acquire and understand the accurate information that is needed so that informed decisions can be made. Help us to hear the complete message being communicated without getting distracted by things that produce ineffective results. My prayer is that you direct the steps of this board as they proceed with the agenda at hand. In the name of Jesus, our Savior. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I'd like to welcome everyone this afternoon. We'll begin with roll call.
Brian Doub.
Present.
Becky Gibson.
Here.
Diana Phillips.
Present.
Jim Barrett.
Everyone have the minutes from the June 3rd, 2023 regular meeting. Are there any additions and corrections to those?
Motion approved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carried. We go on down to new business. We have David Edwards requesting approval to do 2 boot drives for community Christian basketball programming. I'll come up, sir. July 20th and September 7th.
My name is David Edwards. I'm one of the basketball coaches for Community Christian. We have a junior high and a high school team. And last year we did a couple boot drives, and it enabled us to purchase uniforms, pay all the dues for all of our tournaments and for all of our players. And we would like to do that again if we can get permission. So it's a great fundraising for Community Christian. We have a lot of homeschool kids, a lot of kids from broken families that play, so it gives us an opportunity to reach out to them and give them an opportunity to participate.
Which locations do you want to do that at?
Last year we did it in front of the fire station there on Western.
Okay.
Just that one.
Yep, just one location.
What times?
If we could go from like 9 to 12.
And then just get with Mr. Colter and he can give you all the safety apparel you need.
Okay.
Anyone else have any questions?
Motion approved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have the bid openings for our paving firm. John, you got anything to add to this?
I'll just take them under advisement, we'll take them to do it.
And the first bid I have is from Dave O'Mara Contractor. Total cost, $495,307.55.
Oh my gosh, repeat.
Sorry.
That's all right.
$495,307.55. Make sure I have everything correctly on that. Next, I have Milestone. Their total project bid is $589,888.75. I'm sorry.
Again.
$589,000.
$589,888.75.
Thank you.
And Paul H. Rowe. Their total cost was $610,809.31. Okay, John, you want to take these and we'll. Okay, I'll put them right here. Okay. Move on down to the next one, we have information only, it's amending certain purchasing policies. Rosemary, you want to talk about that? Wait a minute here. Hey, can you open up the Zoom for Adam? Sorry.
Did you get a copy of it? Okay.
You need one?
I see it.
Okay.
Thank you. It's an ordinance that's going to go in front of the city council tonight, where we are increasing the department heads' ability to purchase on their own to $10,000, and then the utility director's increases up to $25,000.
So the only changes are on those two?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
It is still highly recommended to get 3 quotes, and we understand that there are specialty items that there's only 1 or 2 people that are available to quote that, but it is also still important to get as many quotes as possible.
Brad, you want to come up and talk about utility side of this real quick while we're waiting on that?
I will. This is one thing we've been talking about for a little bit, because we get in these situations, in particular at the utilities, where we have like a lift station pump go down, where you have an emergency deal and it has to be dealt with, within hours almost. And it just causes us to get in situations where we're loosely not operating fully within internal controls. So I was hoping that we could come up with a way that would get us better. And I think this will solve about 90-something% of those kind of situations that we get in with that. Because just what pump costs and things like that are today, usually, I think that 25 number will be pretty good. So I think this will help us quite a bit.
Well, I agree with Brad, because a lot of times with vendors,
There we go.
and I saw that with Everton Sewer, you have to make a decision on a pump, because that may be the only one they got on hand, and if you have to wait a month or 2 weeks.
Yep, trying to get stuff ordered.
Right.
With the supply chain type of issues to get things, it just gets too difficult. And if you wait a week and a half, 2 weeks to get permissions on all that stuff, it makes it really tough. So a lot of these things are almost emergencies.
Can you hear us, Adam?
Yep, I can hear just fine.
Okay, sorry about that, we didn't get the meeting set up in time. We're at your ordinance number now for the amending certain purchasing policies. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. Let me share my screen. Can you see this okay?
Yes.
We have copies in front of us, Adam.
Oh, okay, thank you, Rose. Yeah, I just wanted to call out then a couple changes. So this is just for information purposes only. We'll be presenting this to council this evening as well. This looks to amend and update a policy a couple different manners. This policy, actually well written, has been with the city for some time. Just obviously with inflation, things cost more than they did when this was originally written. Question has its own sort of specifics. So what we have done is we've amended to add a specific utility director having a separate and different threshold for purchases than the traditional city department heads. So it increases across the board from $5,000 to $10,000. And then specifically for the utility director, it brings them to a $25,000 limit,
No, this is.
just so that,
It's a
you know,
council
pumps,
decision.
pieces
Or it's
of
a council
equipment, those
order.
kind of things that break, they're largely within that dollar threshold, but are above the current threshold. So it just created a situation where routinely there was a potential issue there that we're just trying to resolve. So we think this cleans that up and creates it to where the utility board president or the utility board designee can also provide that secondary approval for internal controls. This has been reviewed by the clerk treasurer's office, our team, and then we've shared a copy with the Indiana State Board of Accounts field examiners to just make sure that there's no issues with the proposed amendments. So again, just really for information purposes today, happy to take any questions. And I want to thank both Clerk Treasurer Rosemary as well as the utilities for working with us to get to these edits for the board's consideration.
Anybody have any questions for Adam? Okay, thank you, sir.
Hey, thank you. Well, have a nice day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Move on down to department matters. Director Colter.
First thing, I'd sent you copies of quotes. Some of you might have noticed that we sort of got started earlier in the year to work on cleaning out the canal bed over there where we have a lot of utilities, manholes, water mains, other things. Some of those trees and things were really starting to impede our manholes and threaten our sewer along through there. That carries all the sewer all the way from the north end, so it's kind of a big deal. So we had Mike Kuhn work on it a little bit just to sort of see what we were going to be getting into and what it would take, and set a little bit of an example of what the work would look like going forward, so we could, and it became obvious in a hurry that we need to quote it because it was going to be a pretty good job. So I went and got a few people that we have worked with and had them quote it. And the bids, let me explain just a little bit. Mike Kuhn's bid is the least, and I've talked to all three of these guys that are aware of what the situation was, and Mike understands. While Mike has the cheapest quote, his quote did not include getting rid of the chippings from all the limbs. You can see the big piles of limbs we came up with just in that small area. And it also did not include buying the seed and the straw. The next higher bid at 72 something includes
72.5.
hauling away, getting the chipper, hauling all the chippings away, and also providing the straw and seed to seed that area back. And as you can see on the upper portion, the intent was we'll grade that and make it mowable, so that we've done this twice since I've been with the utilities, that we've had to go through there and clear that out. This will make it so in the future it doesn't have to be, this will never be done again. We can just mow it with the bush hauler in the future. So I'm asking you to accept KW Earthworks bid at
7,250. 72,250.
Well, I would just like to point out that on Sasser's bid, he was wanting $19,500 for straw and seed. So I think KW Earthworks is a good quote. I'll make a motion with approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
The next item, not asking for any action today, but I just kind of wanted to inform you, we've been, in 2014, we bought a vac truck that was about 3-year-old demo model. We've had very good luck with that truck. It's been a great truck. It's a Vector. And so what is it, 15 years, going on 15 years old now-ish. But it's starting to have some issues, and right now it needs about $50,000 or $60,000 fan parts and repair. That's if we do the work. So I'm not asking for anything yet in particular, but I just kind of wanted to get the nod from you that we might start to look into moving into a different truck and explore the options. Trucks have changed quite a bit since we bought that one. The Vector trucks at the time for us were the best, most powerful trucks, but Roots Blower makes a PD blower that is used on vac all units from Brown Equipment, and we're going to demo one of those this week because we want to give that blower every opportunity if it's something that we can use. Now, at the time we bought this last one, it just didn't work for us at the time, but trucks have changed and the technology has changed, and I think that PD truck might work for us now.
How much is a new one that you're,
Probably in the $600,000 range, and I've got a varied number of prices depending on different vendors about what ours might be worth, maybe 150 or less.
How old is the current truck?
15-ish.
15.
And then, so it may turn out that the best action now is to rebuild ours and put another 50 in it and go down the road a little bit longer. But I wanted to at least explore the options because at the worst case, the parts are going to take a couple of months to get here. So we kind of need to rent and borrow and demo and whatever to get through the next couple of months, checking out other trucks. And I wanted to see if we find something that works for us and we can make the right kind of deal. Maybe there's some demos out there where we could upgrade to about a 5-year-old truck for maybe a couple $100,000. But some people are telling me the technology in those trucks from 2019 and 20 wasn't as good. So it's just kind of going to be a process. Jeremy will be probably leading the process since I'll be leaving here shortly. But I just want to get permission from you to look into it, think about it, and maybe come back to you with some options about getting quotes or something over the next month or so.
I move that we approve your request to look into getting another truck and do the research.
And a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Chief Bolos.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So I'm coming to you this afternoon, just requesting your approval for a new hire, Mr. Jacob Ailes. He's been through our process, our testing process, and our background check just got completed in favor of getting him hired. So he's replacing Officer Hamilton, and I'm wanting him to for the start date of the 23rd, which is next week. So I wanted to put a face with the name, so I had him
Welcome.
come in. This is Mr. Jacob Ailes.
Is he gonna have to attend the academy?
He will have to attend the academy, yes. And I've explained our process, so ILEA opens up next month at some point, and we gotta have his name by then before we can even put him in, so I'm coming before you now to approve his hiring.
Does he already have a slot? Does he have a slot in the academy?
Not yet, it doesn't open until July.
Okay.
And then, but the sooner we can get his name there, it's a list and it's
Right.
in order. So as soon as we can get a hired name into ILEA, then when it opens up to that point goes, however many they take that class, so.
Motion to approve.
Second.
You have a motion second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Welcome aboard, sir.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Move on down to department reports. Chief Harden.
Sorry, got a bottleneck right there. Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
Everyone should have a copy of my May 2024 report. We had a total of 361 calls for service. That's, if you look back over the last 15 years that we've been keeping track, about 30 over our historical total for the month of May. Brings our total calls to 1,669 calls for the year so far. semi-fuel summary and fuel tax rebate that we submitted. We had 36 staff hours for celebration in the Ville. Went off without a hitch, very smooth. We had 12 staff hours for Frazee Touch a Truck and Field Day. So we had quite a few trucks and they were kind of staggered, so we were up and back and up and back. So we also, in the month of May, I hired a part-time EMT, which is where we start out everybody. We start them out as part-time, and then if they work out and if a spot opens up, then come to you and get your permission to promote them up. But we did hire Tyler Burgess as a part-time EMT. He's actually from here. Very, very lucky to have him on board with us. The only other thing that is not in my report, and I just kind of wanted to throw it out there, is that so last Friday we were busy. We were very busy. So we do about 10 to 12 calls per shift, per 24-hour shift. C shift that worked on Monday, or on Friday, excuse me, had 21 total calls. 20 of those were in the first 12 hours. That's movement. And they had several out in the county where they were tied up for an hour plus. So that is a lot of calls. I've kind of been keeping track, and that's, right now, that's third place. So the highest we've ever had is 25. We had 21, 20 of those in 12 hours. That's big city stuff right there. That's big city numbers. So it's no rhyme or reason to it, not one particular thing. It was just a busy day. So just kind of wanted to give them a shout out because they really did. They worked their tails off Friday. They really did. So. Anybody have any questions?
No, just kind of talk to people about heat and things they can do to help mitigate some of the heat response.
So, yeah, it's already hot. It's going to get worse. I've had several questions about that. The number one thing you can do is just not be out when it's so terribly hot. You know, if you need to mow your yard, do it early in the morning, do it in the evening. Try to avoid the heat of the day. That's the biggest thing as far as the heat goes. This number two thing, and it's very, very close number two, is stay hydrated. So you don't realize how much, if you're working outside, or even if you're not working, you're just doing something leisurely, how much fluid you will lose in sweating. And that is our number one heat problem, is people get dehydrated. And they don't realize they're getting dehydrated because it's a slow process. So I looked up some statistics. You can lose 6 to 8 liters of water during a day sweating. So if you think about a 2-liter bottle of pop, you can lose 3 to 4 of those in sweat a day. That's a lot of fluid. And the other thing is drink water. Don't drink pop. Don't drink Red Bulls. Don't drink the energy drinks. You know, I'm a Diet Coke-aholic. I admit it. You got to switch that out. You got to, you know, like the other day I was working, I would do 2 bottles of water and 1 Diet Coke. You got to do the water, not just pop or tea or things like that. Try to stay away from the sugary drinks and the caffeinated drinks. You know, then they go, you know, the light, you know, wear light clothing, that sort of thing. Try to stay in as much as you can. But mainly it's, you know, watch the heat of the day and stay hydrated. So that's our number one. People usually call because they're lightheaded, they're dizzy, and they're not sweating. Well, that's heat stroke. But the reason they usually quit sweating is they're out of fluid. So it does happen, and it will sneak up on you very quickly if you're thirsty and you're outside working. Guess what? You're already behind the 8 ball. If you're thirsty, that's a response to being dehydrated. So if you're thirsty, you're already behind the 8 ball. And the one last thing, and I gave this told someone this the other day, and I don't mean to be crude, but if you're not peeing like you normally do, you're in real bad shape. So that's the end result, is you need to be able to, if you normally pee every 2 hours or so and you haven't went in 6 hours, yeah, you're real dehydrated. So we get a lot of these people that'll take 5, 6, 7, 8 bags of saline in the hospital to bring them back up to normal. So you've got to stay hydrated in all this. So, anything else?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Director Steele.
So if anybody wants to stay cool, Kona Ice is at the pool all summer long. They can go to the pool. So for my report, I have a few things. Are you gonna pull that up now? Okay, I'm gonna skip around here. This was just put in, so, a while back I talked about an Eagle Scout project that was taking place at the park. Levi Marzelek, he's been working on this for about a year. He came to us, the park board, about a year ago. And, he has now completed his project. So he has put these stations in around, the big loop at the pool, or at the park, Roberts Park, and this is what they look like. They give detailed explanations at each station how to do those different exercises. And then at the bottom corner, there's a QR code, so you can take your phone and you can scan that with your camera, and then it will pull up a YouTube video of him demonstrating these exercises. And so there's 5 of these stationed around the big loop at the park that most people will walk around during the day. And so you can stop and take a look at those, and you can do those exercises. And he did a great job. He went and he got sponsorships. So there's sponsorships, I think it's Mac Machine and Christie Family Dentistry, Rural Valley, something, I think it's Architect or something like that. That he went, yes, thank you. And he went through and got all of those sponsorships to help with making these signs. So I think he did a really great job, and he's very excited and proud of that accomplishment that he did. So I wanted to share those photos with you and let you know what's going on. Go ahead to the next one, I'll talk about that. So Reed Health, we've been partnering a lot with them lately, and they have put in a Higgy machine. It actually came from HealthWorks, and they needed a new home for it, and they contacted me to see if we would like to be the new home for the Higgy machine. So we had a great place for it. So this is at the Miller Building. This is what it looks like, and anyone can come to the Miller Building and they can take their blood pressure, it takes their heartbeat, their weight. There may be some other things that it will take as well, but there's also an app, so you can sign on and you can download the app, and it will send you exercise recommendations depending on what your preferences are. And it's a really neat machine, gives lots of good tips. It gives eating tips, different things like that. So this is now at the Miller Building, and anybody can come in and use it at any time that we're open. So I wanted to show you what that looked like as well. Back to the top, we are working on redoing some things at the administration building. That building's in a lot of, it's needed some repair for some time now. And most of our renters, when they rent that building out, that's the one building that they will come in and have comments about. So we've been fixing some patchwork on the drywall, and we're going to be painting that. And then I'm also currently getting quotes to refinish the floor as well. So I don't have those yet, but we are going to be doing that. We're just going to epoxy it, the floor, and seal it really good. We had a stakeholders luncheon on June 6th, and this is in preparation for our comprehensive 5-year park plan. HWC, the company that we're working with, they came and put that luncheon on, and we invited different stakeholders to come and just give their personal feedback on what they feel the park is doing well, what they would like to see improvements on. The main thing is they feel like the park, they love the employees, they feel like the camaraderie and everything has really changed recently, and that they feel welcome. And I really enjoyed hearing that. That makes me feel good that people are enjoying participating in the things that the park has to offer. Some of the things that they recommended that we fix or add would be to host concerts at the amphitheater, add trails, and put signs at the entrance of when you come into town, sharing what parks we have in town and where they're located. And that was one of the biggest recommendations along with the other things. But there were a few people who may work in town, but they don't live in town. And so as we were explaining some of the parks that we have, they said, well, I didn't even know you had that park. And they said it would be really nice if when you enter into town that there were signs directing the locations of the parks that we have to offer. So those were some things that we talked about. So all of those ideas and recommendations were taken into account with HWC, and we're going to be considering those as we write the park plan. I spoke about the hiking machine and then also about the signs around the park. I'm still working on quotes for the bridge. So I've ran into a little bit of an issue because for the soda blasting, there's only, so far I found one person that can do it. He came down last Friday, I apologize, and took a look at the bridge. He is going to be getting me a quote for the soda blasting. The no char, I've only found one licensed person to do it. Their current quote is $40,000. So I'm still in search to see if we could get a few more quotes. The no char, the fire retardant, was donated. We just have to find someone to apply it. And then the painting of the bridge, I actually spoke with Sherwin-Williams. They're working on trying to get a deal for us because we have to buy so much paint. He was looking into if there was particular paint that needed to go onto the bridge because of the no char that was going to be sprayed onto the bridge. And he did not find any issues with that. So he is revisiting the drawing board as far as what kind of discounts, if any, he can give us for the amount of paint that we have to purchase for painting the bridge. So that's where I wanted to bring you up to speed on where we stand with the bridge, and that's where it is currently. Just some things I didn't get in here because I just found this information out, but we were approved, our letter of intent that was sent to the foundation was approved. So I'm working with Jalissa, and we will be writing that grant, and it's due in just about 2 months, I believe. And then we were approved to go on to the second phase of the Lilly Gift Grant, which was the $5 million grant that was written by the foundation for us. So we will be working closely with the foundation and HWC to write that grant for that next phase. So it's a pretty intensive grant that we'll be working on. So I wanted to bring that exciting news to you because that's out of 90 applications, we were in the top 50, so we made it to the next phase. Let's see, swimming lessons for July are currently open. The registration is open, and summer discovery registrations are still open as well. And then June 20th, we have a dive-in movie night. That's this Thursday, and it's sponsored by Communities That Care. And we will be showing a movie, and it is open to the public at no cost from 6:30 to 9:30 Thursday night. Our rules still apply that if you're under the age of 14, you have to come in with an adult over the age of 18. And then
do you know what movie it's going to be?
We are showing the new Wonka movie.
Oh, okay. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory or what?
Yeah,
No,
I
it was
think
just
it's called
Wonka. It's just
Wonka.
called Wonka. That's right.
Yes.
Yeah, just called Wonka. Okay.
So that's the movie that we'll be showing Thursday night. And our concession stands will be open that evening as well, if anybody wants to purchase any food there. And then some upcoming things that I just want to start putting out there is the Renaissance Fair is October 10th. And it's going to go from 10 till about 8 o'clock at night with a movie after following that. And I believe we're showing Hocus Pocus. And then Christmas in the Park, the drive-through light display is going to be in December. So we are looking for people to sign up to put lights up at the park. And then one last thing that was brought to my attention. I didn't know this gentleman, but Charlie Menendote was a lifetime employee for the Parks Department for 40 years. And he just passed away recently, and so we just want to express our deepest sympathies to his wife and his family, and just once again recognize the dedication that he put into the Parks Department and to the city of Connersville. Does anybody have any questions?
Not a question so much, more of a
Okay.
concern.
Okay.
Being down at the ball field a lot this year, I mean, I wish people would actually slow down a little bit. I know it's not on you, but they're not taking their precautions.
through there?
Driving through there.
Okay.
I saw 2 kids about get hit yesterday, and it concerns me that they're not wanting to slow down enough. Is there a deterrent we can do? And I mean, talked to Mayor and Brad about maybe putting speed bumps, but they said that's not really a deterrent. Any other, can we do one-way traffic? Can we do speed signs? Can we,
I could definitely get some signs up there.
Yeah.
We can try one way. I don't know how well that will go since everybody's been used to just kind of going. But we can put some one-way signs and they come in one way and go out the other way.
something? I mean,
But yes, I agree. I worked all week down there last week while Logan was on vacation,
Right.
and I noticed it as well.
I mean, I've seen some people are driving as fast as they do on a regular road. You know,
Yeah.
they could be doing 30, 35 miles an hour, and with little 5-year-olds running around in 6, 7, 8, whatever.
Oh, yeah,
Some-
and the kids don't, they just start out,
Right,
they don't
right.
pay attention,
Yeah.
so,
I just wanted to bring it to your
Yes.
attention in case you didn't know.
Yes, thank
Called
you.
Logan too, you know, so
yeah, yeah.
if there's something we could do with that, it'd be,
Yeah, we'll work on getting some signs down there for sure.
okay. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Anything else? Okay,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Chief Jones.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
Monthly report for the Connersville Fire Department for May. Start off with the overtime. Overtime's still showing an increase. We did just get our most recent hire started, so that should help once we get him trained. I did have a guy off injured, and I think he's due to return here shortly, so that's why you're seeing the increase still. The total for the month was $10,983.21. The majority of that was the shortage, $10,143.60, and then the remainder of that was our normal scheduled overtime of $839.61. Moving on down to fuel usage, we used 373 gallons of fuel for the month, total cost of $1,501.52. Total incidents for the month, we had 219. 33 of those were fire-related incidents, 174 EMS-related, and we had 12 auto accidents. On the next page, you'll see the training hours. We had a total of 38 instructed hours of training for the month. 32 of those fire-related training hours and 6 of those EMS hours. A total of 15 inspections. And we did have 10 hours of fire investigations. We had a couple fires that we got to do some investigation on. As you can see, I mentioned a few minutes ago, we did get our most recent hire started. They're doing a lot of training, training every shift, so they're keeping him busy. One other thing I will note that I didn't put on the report, we currently have a heavy rescue class going on. It's a state certified class. They're actually up there right now. They're up at R&R sales doing some, this class is more geared towards heavier extrication, not just car versus car. We're talking like semis and stuff like that, so they get experience. We several of our firefighters, and then there's I think a few from Rushville taking the class also. So we're currently in that. So other than that, I don't have as much going on as the Parks Department. So that's all I have. Is there any questions?
Thank you, sir.
I better watch it when you walk out there.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Chief Wallace.
All right, so starting out with our monthly reports, our overtime is still a little high. We are still 2 officers down. That attributes to some of that. Our fuel usage is 1,988 gallons of fuel for last month. Any questions on those totals? As far as our incidents go, our accidents are down slightly in the city. We had 41 accidents, opposed to last month at 47. Our traffic stops and violations are up 142. Of those, we had a total of 961 calls of service last month. As far as our department goes, our detectives took in 19 cases. They closed out 13 of those. 3 of them ended up being felony arrest. Our drug detectives, they had 12 cases. 6 of those are currently closed. Department training hours, we had 181 hours department-wide. Our K-9 had 48 hours of training. They did 8 hours of K-9 field trials in Richmond last month. They had 1 apprehension and 18 grams of meth out of their working their dogs last month, and seized 1 handgun. Also, our drug intake for last month, marijuana, we had 236 grams, heroin fentanyl 14 grams, meth 96 grams, cocaine 6 grams, various pills 175, 66 items of paraphernalia, 186 needle pickups, and 3 guns.
What was the fentanyl again?
14 grams of fentanyl. Just for a couple of quick notes, we do have our officer in ILEA. He's halfway through this month. And also I just want to mention that we are going to have active shooter training next month on the 3rd and the 10th. This will be out at Everton, but when we have those, when they see vehicles rolling, then our dispatch is overrun with calls. So I just want to put that out there, that on the 3rd and 10th of next month, we will be having our active shooter scenarios with all the departments, fire, EMS, us, and volunteer firemen will be out there. So other than that, that's all I have for this month.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chief.
Mr. Wolf. Thank you, sir.
Hi.
For the May Ordinance Office Report, during the month of May, I completed 121 ordinance violations being issued. 60 of those were for grass and weeds, 25 accumulation of trash and rubbish, 12 expired plates, abandoned vehicles, or demolition derby cars, 7 interior furniture being left outside of homes, 7 dangerous buildings, assisted with 4 public information requests, 2 dealing with parking positions, and the way vehicles were left, whether that be on the sidewalk or out in the road or in an alley, 2 dilapidated buildings, 1 yard exception, and another transient merchant decided not to stay in town when they found out they had to have a background check. The remainder of this month, I'm going to spend the majority of my time addressing the non-compliant violations that we've had for this year, and begin issuing fines and court dates and get them into court next month to get things wrapped up before the end of summer. I'm also going to be starting the First Impressions again, conducting all of Western Avenue and State Road 44 within side city limits.
Thank you for the detail on the report.
Very welcome.
I think, you do a fantastic job. And I will say from my standpoint, of just my small journeys around town, I'll see something that shouldn't be, but then I don't really say anything, and a week or so, you've already corrected it. Very good.
I get a lot of calls, a lot more calls than I did at the end of last year already. And a lot of times it's people with the same complaints, and I try to call them back. If they leave their number, I'll call them back and let them know immediately whether or not it's already on the list and what date it's scheduled with the street department to be taken care of, or what date the fines, depending on what issue it is, what day the fines will begin. And, so yeah, I try to stay on top of it. A lot of the calls and complaints I get are already in the process. But I still encourage everyone to call, leave me a voicemail, shoot me an email. anything that you guys see, let me know, and I'll address it as soon as possible.
All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Director Colter.
I wanted to tell you about a couple of things. We had a really, you might have seen, I posted on Facebook, talked about it a little bit. We had a really critical leak situation over this weekend. Noticed Saturday morning that we were pumping somewhere in the neighborhood of a couple million extra gallons a day. Maybe a little short of that, but close to that. So we were scrambling around this weekend trying to figure out where it came from. We got very organized first thing this morning, trying to, through theory of deduction, to figure out areas where the leak wasn't. And we finally came up with the answer. It was up at the Vistion, old Vistion Phoenix Novalex plant. And they were doing some construction in the back, and while nobody was there on Saturday morning, it popped. And it was a good one and a scary one. Most of the time when we get that kind of a leak, we find it within a couple of hours. So when we go a day or two, I start getting really concerned that it's under the river or in a creek or somewhere where we're not going to find it very easily. So I was pretty happy when I got the call this morning that somebody was driving around up there and saw the guys looking at the water. So thanks to all the people that messaged in. We have 2 or 3 small leaks in town that we sort of already knew about, that people reported to us about 50 or 100 times, but we appreciated every one of the calls because you never know when somebody's going to tell you about the one you're looking for. The other thing, and I'll take your lead from this, but if you noticed with the way the bids came in on the paving, we may have another $300,000 left over from what the engineer's estimate, what we thought was going to be. There's a second round of grant open right now that we would be probably under a really quick turnaround on time constraints to get put in for it, but we might be able to turn that 3 into 6.
That's my next question. John, I was already heading that as soon as this meeting's over.
We were chatting about it, but I was wondering if anybody thought it would be appropriate, maybe you could give us permission to go ahead and apply if it is a possibility that we can. So that we don't have to wait for the next meeting and then be too late or something. So Rosemary, do you think that would be appropriate?
That'd be fine.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
If nobody had any questions about any of the other things in my report, I'll send
Thank
this
you.
up.
Thanks, Brett.
Director Palsy.
Hello. For the month of May, we had 9 hours, 46 minutes of media production, 8 hours, 41 minutes of original production. Our top content, CHS Promenade, School Board on May 14th, and the CHS Scholarship Awards. We had 9,820 YouTube analytic views, which equates to 1,585 viewing hours, and we're up to 3,623 subscribers. Of course, again, that's only on YouTube, not including cable. We don't have those stats. Lately, I've been working on the law for live streaming, and I'm working on the ConnersvilleCommunity.com website, both on the city and county side, to try and get us pre-compliant on agendas and minutes, and it's a huge undertaking, so it's slowly coming around. I'm still waiting on a lot of the various boards to give me their information, so. But the city is doing pretty well. A lot of county boards out there. So, any questions?
Well, we can talk about, there's multiple reasons for that. We're saying, you're trying to talk about it now because it's July 1st of next year, or is it June 1st of next year?
July 1st. July
1st of next year, those must have to be in place. The way TV3 is funded is through cable franchise fees. And those cable franchise fees we've been tracking it for a while, but they've been dwindling ever since I've been in office. They're shrinking every year. That's because people are going internet-based TV. They're not buying cable. I mean, it's not rocket science. I mean, it's where it's headed. But that directly impacts TV3 because that's how it is funded. With this new law, totally going to change the game, because we have to now provide all this, and we have to find ways to fund it ourselves, basically. So we're trying to pull all the entities together, saying, if we do this, we gotta figure out how we can budget for this, because it's going to end up costing everybody. It's not just gonna be the city's burden to bear for the county and everything else. So we're trying to come up with an equal number so we can help fund this, because it's going to take, it's a massive undertaking. It's not something small. And that also helps us with the direction going forward on what services we provide, what we can't provide, and a lot of things. So that's why we've been talking about it. How, when did we have that meeting? A couple of months ago, I don't remember.
Yep.
Just to put it out there, everyone's like, well, you got a year. Well, it's a lot to build this program. John's done a great job. He's already kind of built a quasi calendar, so to speak. He's already got the YouTube channel up to go. YouTube channel up to go. But it's going to require a lot just of ongoing routine maintenance. Is the easiest way to say that?
Yes, it's a lot of continual maintenance,
It's a
especially
lot.
on the back end of updating the minutes, agendas, memos, and linking all of those pieces together, which is actually turning into be a lot of HTML coding to get that done every time, so it's not very simple.
So it's a big undertaking. We don't know what it's completely going to look like. We got to figure that out, but really we got to get the funding figured out first, because it's like I said, it's dwindling, and with this new law, I asked every state legislator, you're requiring us to do this, are you going to help offset some of the costs and the funding? And their answer was no, it's on you. So they've decreased our income big time and increased our expenses big time. So we're working through that, but that's why we're trying to get everyone to give us your regular meeting schedules so we know how to figure out how to budget for all this. And even that's been quite the task of getting all the schedules in. Are they still coming in, or slowly, or?
They're very slow.
Okay.
And I just found out today that there's 2 other boards that I can consider, so.
2
thanks
other-
for that.
Okay.
So,
Well,
it's really hard. I know what the law says, but I don't know what boards are out there until I know
Right.
what boards are out there. And then I just found out there are 2 that definitely fall into this category, so I've got to work on those now.
they give us zero guidance on how to do this. This is the law, you gotta comply, and we gotta figure it out. So that's where we're at, we're trying to figure it out.
Well, and you know, like you explained in the joint meetings, this is very extensive as to what the record keepings and
Oh, it
all
is.
that is. It's gonna take a lot of time.
Yeah.
And from our conversation, we feel like they're going to broaden this
Yeah, well,
into 26. Be my guess, they're gonna broaden it some more.
they may do it sooner than that in the upcoming session, so.
Well, we'll
we
see.
don't know.
So, we're paying attention to it. John and I's been to the State House, talked to several legislators about it. Just because it's not a small undertaking, and the good thing is, for our standpoint, we're already ahead of the curve with TV3. Most communities don't have any of that, so they're trying to figure it out and I just think the chaos could be large. We'll say it that way. I think we've minimized ours just because John's expertise and Justin's expertise at it. They've really minimized ours, but it's still gonna be chaos. All right, thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to old business. Anyone have any old business? Miscellaneous business? Claims.
Claims for the city of Connersville, June 17th. The city is $422,231.14. Payroll, $560,685.40. Utilities, $347,647.57.
Have a motion to approve claims?
So moved. Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Move on down to the public forum. Anyone from the public have anything to say? Anyone out there, Clint? Nope? Okay. I'll take a motion for adjournment.
So moved. Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Have a good afternoon.